What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are reacting to Film Theory, I Solved the FNAF Movie. Okay, before I even see this, I'm gonna give you my take of it. And that's... It's gonna be a weird take of elements from, I think, mainly the books and the games. Because with all the trailer, with the two trailers that I've seen, it seems more like close to modern, but not too much. More like closer to the year 2000. Yeah, that's not really a good meme, because technically it's the year 3000. But yeah, anyway, 2000. It's probably the 2000s at most to 1990 something. I forgot on the top of my head when the first game takes place. But yeah. I'm trying to recall, in all honesty. I really shouldn't at this moment, but it'll come to me when it comes to me. But yeah, it's gonna take place within 2000 to somewhere in the 1990s. That's for sure. And it's probably going to use some game elements. I mean, not game, book elements. Because, for one, we have the spring Bonnie suit. So unless, A, this is the scenario where William Afton got stuffed and trapped, and didn't destroy the animatronics, or B, this is like in the books, the Silver Eyes, where the animatronics are still active, but William Afton goes by the nickname Dave Miller, and comes by every so often to keep people off the property, and if they do, will gladly murder them. I don't know, weird 50-50 chance thing, but yeah. That's my take on this, because, in all honesty, I think it's just the first book and the first game, with added elements to make it seem more like a stable thing to tell the timeline of both. Well, to tell the story of the books and the games at the same time. At least that's what I think. It's just going to be mainly about the first book and the first game. Blend them together. And bam! That's our story. At least that's what I think. But anyway, theory aside, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction video. And if you do, hit the like button down below. hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. If you haven't already, I put something on the community page saying that you can put certain videos for Halloween. By this, I mean like horror, something involving something people done that are dumb during the month of Halloween, pranks and horror stories. Something about creepypastas, something about SCPs and all this and all that. And tomorrow is going to be the video that I have been preparing for you guys, basically. So, yeah, with all this said, hope you'll enjoy. And remember, the link to the video that I'm reacting to will be down in the description below. So be sure to give Film Theory some love and support for the video they made. Now, with all this said, let's start this video. Okay?
Google Meet for sponsoring a portion of today's video.
Google Meet? Isn't that just Zoom, but Google?
It's been so many years.
Oh, yeah.
I waited. Finally, it's my turn. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that always knew that this day was coming. It's been over 8 years, but finally the Five Nights at Freddy's live-action feature film
has it been 8 years?
In a little over a month. And you know what that means. It means that nowhere is safe anymore from FNAF.
Actually, by the time this video comes out, there's 27 days.
Cookbook. It's coming for you next, Food Theory. And all we need is a FNAF fashion line that's infected all of us.
Halloween costumes.
Oh, my sweet stars, what have I done? But for as satisfying as it is for Film Theory to take another toy out of the toy box at Game Theory and claim it as our own, see also Sonic, Mario, and Last of Us in this year alone, in all seriousness, we are way overdue for a theory breaking down our predictions for this movie. And believe me, there is plenty to talk about. If you're on YouTube and you see the phenomenon that is Five Nights at Freddy's, how? Like, genuinely. How? I need to know your secrets.
That's kind of impossible. It's been going on for like what? 9 years?
Down in the ruins of a dilapidated pizzeria. But while the scares certainly got us started, it's the story that's kept us going.
9, 10 years?
Persist for as long as it has been its
no, seriously, was it 9 or 10 years?
Of information and
I think it was most recently the 9th anniversary.
Game Theory, and we are still trying to decode this
it could be the 10th.
Only been 60? Feels like they've got to be 100 at this point. And this new FNAF movie seems
honestly, they should be 100.
Not in terms of the lore
There's been too many FNAF
storytelling. There is a
theories.
ton of information packed into the few short minutes of trailer footage that we've seen so far. Enough that I believe we can predict the entire plot of this new movie, right down to the shocking twist ending that's gonna leave you devastated. Here's a hint. If you think this movie has itself a happy ending with everyone smiling and living happily ever after, then clearly
you don't know FNAF if that's the case.
Film Theory does what Game
FNAF doesn't have a happy ending.
Solve this franchise, and we're gonna do it before the movie even releases. Keep your eyes on your monitors.
There could be a good one where everyone gets a decent end, but no. Overall, it's not going to be a complete fairy tale ending.
The universe of the games. Why? This thing. I have played, watched, and read every last scrap.
Okay, that's actually something different. What is that?
Anything we've ever seen before. Clearly, it's a murder weapon, and clearly it was made by the franchise's big bad. But why, what, and how is still a complete mystery. My best guess, and again, this one's a guess, is that it's a remnant extractor. A way to ensure murder traumatic, awful death possible.
Yeah, I can actually.
Experience can be harvested to help create creatures with eternal life. If none of
that would make sense.
Strap in, El Chippo. You're in for a crash course. By the end of this thing, you're going to be talking about Fazgoo with the confidence of a pro. I
still hate that fucking concept. Fazgoo? Seriously?
things are different.
I'm sorry, the
Well,
fast
certainly
food thing
appears to take place
honestly
in the
triggers me.
1990s, like the original FNAF game,
It is
considering
so
everyone's using
out of
old
left
school
field.
wired telephones. There are no modern cars, and all the monitors are old CRTs. There also
Oh,
are
that's
new
actually a great
characters who
detail.
clearly reference later parts of the franchise, specifically Vanessa from Security Breach, a blonde security guard in the game who here appears as a blonde police officer. What I think's going on
Does she
here
have
from a
green
macro
eyes?
perspective is that the movie's taken a bunch of stories from the game franchise and simplifying them for a general film audience, while trying to keep the most iconic aspects of the games intact. Plus, they're going to be combining ideas and characters from different eras of the franchise to get as many recognizable aspects of FNAF into one film as possible. That's why we
Makes
see
sense,
stories
I
from the original
guess.
FNAF interacting with someone new from
And
Security
I'm
Breach.
saying that
We have a girl
loosely.
named Abby mixed in there whose name is literally an anagram of baby, all fighting against an unbroken version of Springtrap. That right there, that is the filmmakers trying to bridge the gap between the different eras of FNAF and bring in
Okay,
as
so
many
it is
fans as
following
they
the book.
can. The OGs
Okay.
from 2014, the new fans from Security Breach, and also your average Joes who can't tell a Fred Bear from a Ned Bear, let alone a
How
Shamrock
can
from
you
Roxy.
actually?
Oh, you have so much to learn. So all in all, think of this movie
Actually,
as something that's
yeah.
gonna wipe the slate clean and start fresh.
I'm not
Referencing
gonna
moments and
bother
other
with the new
characters from the
people
game's book,
because
but
I can
not
understand how
behold it
confusing this is gonna be.
because, you know,
Looking
that's
in
not
from the
confusing route to
beginning
go at all. That said,
to
let's assume
now.
they don't stray too far from the
I mean,
game.
you have to
Case in
be
point,
longtime
this intro
fans
right
that
here.
even
During
get a
the spooky,
basic
scary
understanding
moment
of
in the
this
trailer,
puzzle of the
Nebraska is spelled out
franchise.
very clearly on a poster in very large, very bold letters right next to the main character's head. This was an intentional decision definitely put into the trailers to keep us talking. This means something. Now, the general consensus is that the FNAF games normally take place in Utah. Multiple spin-off book series have made that detail quite clear. Could it be then that they've moved the setting to Nebraska for some reason? Maybe, but I don't think so. It'd be weird to just have a state poster of the state that you're currently in right above your security desk. My guess is that this poster was put here intentionally by Mike. It's important to him for some reason. My best guess is that it's hashtag goals, an aspirational place to go to help him get out of his current situation. Because on the face of it, things don't seem to be going all that great for him. It looks to me like Mike and his family have fallen on some hard times. First off, we don't see his parents in these trailers at all. Though Mike's father has been cast, I'm gonna guess that he's only here for a flashback scene, considering he doesn't look too much older than Mike's actor Josh Hutcherson. Additionally, we see that Mike and his little sister Abby are living in a small house with an average car, and Mike is looking for any job that he can get.
I was just calling to see if that job that you offered was still available. I will take anything.
We later
Honestly,
see Mike bringing Abby along with him while he's working, implying that this is probably their only option. They can't afford a babysitter, and if there were parents at home to take care of Abby, why would he be bringing her to his night shift job? So Nebraska might be a symbolic place of freedom for Mike, a place to escape and finally be free. More or less, though, I believe that the setup for the backstory of the FNAF movie is going to align with that of the first game. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria was a popular arcade and food chain represented by its 4 iconic mascots:
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
However, they're not the only ones here. It seems that some of the children encountered another animatronic, a large yellow bunny rabbit that's separate from the other 4, as we see in a drawing here on the wall from this shot. This was a costume used by the owner of the establishment, William Afton, an outfit he would use to get closer to the kids, which honestly is creepier in a movie than it was in the games. You know, just your typical yellow bunny friend holding hands with 5 kids, which, when you're talking in horror movie speak, is code for he killed those kids, stuffed them into suits, and eventually turned them into haunted robots. Also,
Honestly, I'm still confused how they actually went with him, because honestly, that just makes no sense. Then again,
but the more that we've seen of the wall in other trailers, there doesn't actually seem to be that much.
it could just be me.
Sadly, and honestly, surprisingly, considering the franchise we're talking about. Speaking of Yellow Bunnyman, the trailers seem determined to convince us that the person we expected to play the franchise's big bad isn't actually playing the villain. Despite rumors that he would be playing our resident Urkel murder man William Afton, in the trailers, Lillard's character is clearly labeled as Steve Raglan, career counselor. But here's the rub. If there's one thing we've learned here on film theory over the past decade, it's that trailers can be manipulated to create mystery or confuse timelines.
True.
Morbius and Infinity War, just to name 2 key examples. And here, I think we're being
I also
with the
can't
exact same
disagree
sort of misdirect. In fact, I'm almost 100% confident that I
with
am beyond a reasonable doubt.
the 2
First,
examples.
Matthew Lillard confirmed that he signed a 3-picture deal to star in more than one FNAF movie. And unless Steve Raglan's a new character that Blumhouse is just really hype about, I expect that deal was to play Afton. However, far more convincingly, we
Can't
have
disagree,
this
that would
from
make
the trailer
sense.
where a young boy is seen getting kidnapped in the middle of the woods. Based on the film's official website, the synopsis reads that Mike is still, quote, haunted by the unsolved disappearance of his younger brother more than a decade before. And we know, based on casting, that the brother's name is Garrett. Now, the actor playing this kid Garrett is named Lucas Grant. Hopping over to Instagram, Grant commented on a post by Matthew Lillard saying that it was great to work with him and that he's much nicer than his character. Now tell me, why would a young actor playing a kidnapped boy have any reason to
Spoilers. characters.
with a career counselor. He wouldn't. The only way they interact is if Matthew Lillard, Steve Raglan, William Afton, call him whatever you want, was kidnapping that kid. In other words, in this movie, a
Can't
big
disagree.
final reveal will be that Matthew Lillard kidnapped Mike's brother. This would actually parallel some key moments from the original novel, where William Afton acts under a pseudonym, Dave Miller, and has the perfectly normal mundane job of security guard for an old abandoned mall, a job that allows him to supervise the comings and goings around Freddy's. That way, when kids start poking around, he's able to hop into the suit, get it, hop, because he's a rabbit, hop into the suit and try to get away. See him do
Yeah,
it
you're
here.
funny.
And lastly, in the novels, he also kidnaps a kid prior to becoming a crazed serial killer. Honestly, a lot of the details here line up. Now, before we start jumping from video to video to keep tabs on
Yeah, I
Yin-Yang
can't
again with
disagree.
more plot predictions, let's take a moment to thank a service that I bet Mike will.
And I'm not doing that.
In today's video.
Let's see. Okay, so there.
This portion of the video. Now let's put back on our employee uniform.
Okay,
And back out
I got it
to
right.
Pizzeria to figure out what exactly is going
Oh,
on.
that never happens.
So really, when we look at a lot of the clues coming from these trailers, the story is largely what you'd expect. There's a string of children disappearing from the pizzeria, resulting in Freddy Fazbear's shutting down. Judging from both the kids drawing on the wall and this shot from the trailer, looks like Afton killed 5 children, as we'd expect from the lore of the first game. Our favorite bunny-themed serial killer hid the bodies of the kids inside the animatronic suits, and in so doing,
Okay.
their souls inside the robots forever. And we know that they're sticking with that specific part of the lore based on the jump scare here. It is so good every time I see it. Children's hands popping out of animatronic mouths. Not only is it terrifying, it tells us that he definitely hid the bodies inside there. But now recently,
True.
people have been poking around the old abandoned pizzeria. As we see in the most recent trailer, some small-time criminals break in, intent on robbing the place and trashing it up for fun. I believe this sequence is probably
No
the
one
beginning of the film. These characters breaking in before they're met
should
with
ever
terrible
do that.
fate.
That's
Possessed
freaking
animatronics
dumb.
come to life and kill them as they're mid-crime,
Especially in the
not only
FNAF
showing the
universe.
audience early on that these things are terrifying, but also creating a giant problem for Afton, who now risks having more people poking around his old murder den. Hoping to prevent future break-ins and deeply uncomfortable questions about his past, Afton decides to hire a security guard to keep an eye on the place during the night. His first option doesn't exactly work out all that well, but not to be deterred, our plucky
True.
murderer tries and tries again to find someone who'll keep the building safe. Enter our main character of the movie, Mike Schmidt. Mike will do anything for cash. Based on these two shots,
Will you
from the
technically
first
be
trailer,
Michael
we know that
Afton?
Mike has a history of working as a security guard.
Or is he
Like
going to be
got
literally
carried
like
away in a
Schmidt
previous
this
role,
time around?
resulting in him getting fired. Desperate for cash and with no one willing to hire him, Mike takes a job as the night shift security guard at Freddy Fazbear's, bringing his sister Abby with him. Seems like things aren't too strange starting off. Though it's certainly creepy, they explore the pizzeria without much of an issue. Until, of course, there's a knock at the front door. Mike goes out and meets Vanessa, a police officer with a strange interest in the building. In fact, she seems to know a lot about Freddy's.
In the 80s, kids went missing. The police searched Freddy's top to bottom. They never found them. That's why the place shut down.
Looks like somebody watched our complete timeline. Soon, as creepy occurrences start happening all across the
I
pizzeria,
mean-
Mike realizes what he's gotten himself into.
There are ghost
Huh.
children possessing giant robots. Thanks for the heads up.
And here's where the stakes get higher. Obviously, the animatronics are going to pose a danger to both Mike and Vanessa, but their well-being isn't going to be the only thing on the line during this movie. Throughout the trailers, we see shots of Abby going off to explore the pizzeria alone and ultimately hiding from Foxy in the ball pit. Let's just hope that she doesn't time travel. In all seriousness, though, somehow
Oh,
Abby
don't
will
bring
befriend
that up.
animatronics, especially the leader, Golden Fredbear. A character
That's
that
still
will
confusing.
notice
How
that
was
Fredbear's
time
enemies
travel a
are in
thing?
shots with her. Why is she
Especially
a
involving a ball
friend?
pit. How does that happen?
Animatronics choose to befriend Abby. Well,
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
yep, the animatronics want to add another member to their ranks, and that is going to be the big driving factor for this movie. Mike and Vanessa are going to rush to try to solve the mystery of the kids' disappearance and put their spirits to rest, hopefully with plenty of time to save Abby. The scenes where we see Mike interacting with the kids outside the pizzeria, I believe that this is where Mike is trying to put the pieces together and is speaking to the spirits in something like his dreams. Of course, William Afton does not want this to happen. And has
does
to
sound
get
interesting
involved,
when
disguising himself
described
as a
like
Springfield
that, I
costume and
guess.
chasing Mike and Vanessa around in an attempt to silence them in the big scary action set pieces. Afton will likely capture and injure Vanessa at some point, considering that we see a yellow rabbit hand grabbing Vanessa's neck here and Mike sitting by Vanessa in the hospital looking concerned. So that's the main setup for what I see happening in the movie, but what about the big twist? There's always got to be some sort of a big twist in FNAF.
True.
I believe
It's
that
FNAF.
the identity of some of the
Nothing's
spirits.
that easy.
We actually get a pretty good idea of which spirits possess which animatronic bodies.
If
from
anyone
the
says that
trailers. It's pretty obvious
it's going to be
there's
easy to
Bunny in
solve,
his
then
Bonnie, redhead with pirate claw is Foxy, the girl wearing all yellow is Chica, and the boy with the top hat is Freddy. As for the last kid though, well, the obvious thought was that he was going to become the mysterious Golden Freddy. I think that's what I and everyone else assumed when we saw that first trailer. But now, I'm not so sure. The fact that
Not
Smith, Chow,
really,
and
because I
Chow doesn't
honestly
have
thought they were
Freddy
going to do
explicitly
like
alluding to
Cassidy
an
there,
animatronic has to be intentional, and I believe that it was the filmmakers keeping things ambiguous so we wouldn't guess their twist.
but because
I
it's
suspect
not
that the fifth
female.
kid isn't Golden Freddy. Instead, I think it might be the Cupcake. Yeah, I know.
What?
It sounds ridiculous, but hear me out on this one. In the latest trailer, we clearly see Cupcake moving around independently and attacking someone without Chica's help. My initial gut thought to this? Stupid, to be honest. Like, does Chica's soul transfer down into the Cupcake alone for remote attacks, leaving Chica soulless for a while now? Or can a spirit divide itself and act on different parts of the character at different times? You know what? I'm not sure.
That's
I don't have a good
confusing.
answer for it, but I do think that this would open up an incredibly dark and compelling twist on Golden Freddy. Remember, these 5 kids who disappeared at Freddy Fazbear's in the shot aren't the only kids that have gone missing in this story. We still have ourselves Mike's missing brother Garrett, who we talked about earlier as the kid in the back of the car.
True.
Being carted away by old Billy Afton up in front. I mean, in this franchise, it would be shocking if someone kidnapping a child wasn't William Afton. Anyway, why do I think that this is actually the kid that
I would say
brother?
otherwise,
Well,
but
again, we
yeah,
have
that's
actor
pretty
Louis
true.
Grant,
If
instant
William
follower
Afton isn't the
recently
killer of
posted him
kids,
hanging out
then
with
you would
another
think it's
child actor named
Vanessa.
Wyatt
And if
Parker.
it's neither of them,
Called out
then that would be
as
surprising.
an interesting choice of words considering that Parker was cast in the film as young Mike. 2 twin brothers, one who gets kidnapped. Almost a one-for-one replica of what we see happen in the Silver Eyes novel. So let me ask you, what if Mike's brother is Golden Freddy, separate from the tragedy at the pizzeria? We can assume that Mike's brother was kidnapped in one of the earlier
True.
parts of the timeline.
That
the
would
time
be
when Golden Freddy
interesting.
was still being use. And in the games, we've long theorized that Mike Schmidt is in fact Mike Afton, son of William Afton. This would also mean that his little brother was the crying child who was killed and became one of the spirits that possessed Golden Freddy. Given the fact that Mike's father's been cast and is distinctly not being played by Matthew Lillard, I don't think that's the exact direction that they're taking for the movie, but taking the core of that story, keeping Mike's brother as Golden Freddy, well, that would fit with both the timeline and serve as a devastating twist to the casual audience. It would also explain why Abby is spending so
Can't
much time
disagree.
with Golden Freddy in the trailers. It's her spending time with a brother that she never got to know, whether she realizes it or not. It could also explain why Golden Freddy retains blue eyes when all the other animatronics have red ones. The circumstances of his possession are just a little bit different when he's interacting with a family member. So Afton attacks Mike and Vanessa for getting too close to his secrets, and despite fighting back, they ultimately lose. As they're about to die, Abby is able to win over the animatronics and use them to fight back against Afton, saving them all. You'll notice one of the oddities of the trailer is the design of Springtrap. It is different from what we see in the game.
True.
It's cleaner,
It's more-
and it's more put together. It has
Yeah.
not gone through all the rotten decay that we'd expect from this character. I believe that's
I mean, it
exactly
has
how it ends.
close to the
Mike,
real
Abby, Vanessa,
same
and the
coloring.
animatronics defeat Afton by trapping him in the walls. Tying a bow on the end of this movie while still leaving him in a position to turn into the decayed, rotten corpse that we all know and love for the eventual sequel. However, all things can't end happily here. I believe there's a good chance that the animatronics are gonna wind up getting what they want out of Abby in the end. Her name is an anagram of baby, after all, an animatronic that first appeared in FNAF's sister location. The team celebrates the defeat of Afton, only for Abby to accidentally stumble into a clown outfit, or maybe get put there by a vengeful Golden Freddy, giving us our villain and the problem to solve in the eventual second movie, saving the world from eternal, ceaseless torment. Or maybe that ceaseless torment is just meant for me, who is now tasked with trying to solve the timeline of this franchise across multiple channels. Truly, the animatronics have taken another victim. But hey, that's just a
I just
theory.
realized he has to deal with that.
Theory.
Oh.
And cut.
That actually really bad. Yes, he's not forced to deal with this franchise for 4 different channels. Because sooner or later it's going to come back to it's going to go to actually food theory, and then if things do go out the way they are, it's going to go to his style theory. Oh, wow. That's... Huh. Gonna have to really think about that one. Jeez. Okay, what do I think of this? What do I think of this? In all honesty, there's a lot to unravel here. Honestly, I don't think I can disagree with anything else, because I can't disagree with the beginning, and I can't disagree to like, right over here, but well, the ending, he said. That's the point where I'm going to have to say something else. But everything else, I don't know. It just makes sense. It shows a well balance of both the books and the games itself. Honestly, probably should have done book theory, but yeah. Probably not a lot of books to go on about, but I don't know. But anyway, back to the main point. We are going on about this in a unique sense. Everything seems to fit into place, oddly enough. So I'm just gonna get to the point. Golden Freddy. I don't know. That's a complicated subject. No matter which format it's on, it's just going to be complicated to try to understand. And the thing is, I don't really know how to go on about this one. It's just hard to explain, really. Because I have no doubt that it's actually Mike's little brother now that it's mentioned. I can't see the sister actually making him into like this ally that will help fight Afton. I don't deny that. The part that I'm not too sure about is the literal thing involving the fifth kid. I don't know. If it's the cupcake, I think maybe. I honestly thought. I was trying to think. No way that the kid's gonna be Golden Freddy, because it's not Cassidy. But then I realized there were other people that possessed Golden Freddy, mainly in the Fazbear Fright series. Because I remember there being a blonde male character that technically brings people to where Golden Freddy is, and they die. So it might be that one. Maybe it's a possibility, okay? That's all I can really think of. When it comes to this subject, but yeah. Anyway, though, the ending that Matt had explained, I don't think it's going to turn out that way. while we'll explain and such, it doesn't seem possible for it to end that way. It just seems so simple. I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? It seems pretty well out and all that. Well, the thing is, FNAF is never that simple. Even if someone tries to explain it the best they can, it's a complicated subject. It's never an easy thing to explain, or something you can predict truly without a ton of evidence. Now, for the games, we can follow a pattern. For the books, they're like completely unpredictable. Even the newer books are completely unpredictable when it comes to the subject of FNAF. It's just freaking complicated to understand. And the fact we're adding the books into what is making the film what it is, then things aren't going to be as simple as this thought process that we all have for the movie. It's going to be more complicated and all that. I know all of you might say you're crazy for thinking that, but dealing with this series for so many years makes you tend to realize that this series can actually throw you around and give you an unpredictable pattern that you will realize as soon as you go into it. I could be wrong. I'm not going to deny that's a possibility. But I don't know. It just seems the ending's too simple. There's probably going to be like a left field throw or something. I don't know. It's just this series. It's just bringing that into attention. I just don't know why. I just don't believe it's that simple. I'm sorry if you think I'm crazy for this, but it just doesn't seem that simple. The only way we'll know for sure if I'm right or wrong is when the film comes out. And by now, there's 27 days. So, yeah, until then, I hope you'll enjoy this reaction video. If you did, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when a new video comes out. Check out the community page. And put in a video or two about something you want me to react to in the month of Halloween. I'm going to try to do as much as I can. I'm going to go completely random for give them a number order from what came out and see what I'm going to react to as time goes by. So yeah, with this said, hope you all enjoy. The link to this video will be down in the description below. And tell me what you think about this video in the description. And not the description, the comment section down below. Yeah. Hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.